After missing the last 5 games, we got Bradley Beal back tonight in Madison Square Garden, heart of the concrete jungle of New York. Brad gives you 18. The Unicorn gives you 22. Kyle Kuzma gives you 27. Oh, by the way, the last 2 people I mentioned also gave you double-doubles. As you see Kyle Kuzma tiptoeing through the Garden, that's what it's all about. Welcome to Postgame Live. Glenn Consor and Wes Hall with you. Of course, to be joined by Chris, Drew, and Megan momentarily. But Glenn, I know it's your hometown. But the Wizards went up there and got a dub. A little bit of payback was in order tonight. And, of course, a fabulous way of doing it if you look at the numbers.
Yeah, first of all, the thing that jumps out at me early is the fact that they out-rebounded the Knicks. I mean, they beat them at their own game. And Wes, I think that was huge tonight.
Yes.
The balanced attack on offense was everything. The fact that Brad came back really balanced the floor. The team had great spacing. They didn't rush their shots. They used their passing to move the ball and open up driving lanes. Look, the Knicks defense is very good. What they do is they pack it in. But to reverse the ball is how you beat the Knicks. And you know what loosened it up a little early? They made their threes. All of a sudden, that packed-in defense got loosened up a little bit, and the Wizards did a great job of exploiting that.
Glenn, he gave you 18 points, 4 boards, 4 dimes. I love the fact that he only played 29 minutes, only meaning Brad usually plays like 35 minutes a night. What did you make of his game tonight? Because as he knew, as he said, he wanted to watch himself. It was a different protocol about getting back on the court tonight, but we liked the version of Brad we saw tonight.
You know what I liked? I liked the fact that he let the game come to him. You know, he wasn't forcing things. Look, we know Brad could drop and give you 50.
Easily.
We know he can give you 40. But he let the game. He read the defenses beautifully. Did a great job, especially early in the game, curling off screens with the nice, soft, aesthetically beautiful jump shot. And he took the driving lanes, but he didn't force anything. He wasn't backing guys down. He just let the game breathe. Wizards really showed that with him on the floor, the court becomes very balanced and you could increase your spacing, and that's the key. That also opens up three-point shots. It makes those easier.
Look at the stats for Brad tonight, as I mentioned, 18 points, 7 from 11 from the field, 4, 4, and 1. But Glenn, something that he said to Megan on the walk-off, he was like, I know what happens when I'm on the court. You can't double the others.
No.
You can't double me.
Nope.
It's back to where we were at the beginning of the season, where we were asking, what do teams do to try to stop the Wizards? You have to pick your poison. Tonight, the Knicks didn't have anything in that jar because we had 3 guys going off tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what else happened tonight. With Brad on the floor, and this is really important, with Brad on the floor, 6 Wizards players were in double figures. The bench looked good tonight. The bench did their role. All of a sudden, things change. It loosens things up. The reality is you win in the NBA with your stars. And you need, the way the NBA is built right now, you need 3 of them. And the Wizards' 3 stars were finally out there, and you really saw the difference. Not just offensively, but defensively, too. I thought the Wizards did an excellent job on Julius Randle and Barrett tonight. Those guys, you know, you got to pick your poison with the Knicks. Brunson is playing at a very high level. He's averaging over 33 points a game, last 6 games now, right? But what they do, so you pick your poison. He got his points, but they shut down Barrett and they shut down Randle. They're big, too.
And the absence of Mitchell Robinson, I'm glad that we took advantage of his absence. Sometimes, you know, we say we played at a level of opponent. He steps out, we say, oh, the lane's open today.
Right.
Let's go ahead and dump it down in the paint and take advantage of his absence. But here's what I want to get to. What was the key to victory tonight? Is it, dare I say, the assists? Is it the three-point shooting? Is it the free throws? Because we had 16 free throws, we had 16 threes, and the assists were 28 to 14. Glenn Consor says that. Why don't you go to NBCSportsWashington.com/vote. Make your voice heard. You can use the QR code right there on the screen as well. I want to bring in Chris and Drew here in a moment to get their thoughts on this, because if I had to, wave my hand, you can probably look at my Twitter account and tell you that I'm happy it was about the threes. But I'll ask Drew the same question. Guys, what do you think was the key to victory for the Wizards tonight? Threes, free throws, assists, what do you got?
Your bold prediction. Did you get that right?
Yes, I did.
Was you spot on?
Yes, I did.
16. Did you have 16?
I said 15 or more, and I said KP and Kuz had to have 20 or more points. I got all 3 of those things right.
All right. You've been real humble about it, so I'm just giving you a flowers. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We don't have to go to Twitter, Wes. We don't have to go to Twitter.
Go ahead, brother.
But guess what? One thing that's not on here, which me and Glenn talked about in pregame, is the rebounding factor. Whoever won the glass was going to win this game. Last Friday, the Wizards were out rebounded by 4. They lost by 4. Tonight, they out-rebounded them by 3, and it was much more than just that. And this last but not least, that matchup between Porzingis and Julius Randle. I said it. Whoever won that matchup, their team was going to win that game. And guess what? Porzingis won that matchup, and his team won.
It wasn't just rebounding. It was offensive rebounding. The Wizards had 18 of those, and we talked about how the Knicks are number 1 in the league in offensive rebounds and second chance points. And for the Wizards to go wire to wire, and I agree with everything you guys said. Listen, Bradley Beal was a decoy tonight, to be quite honest with you, because the way Kuzma and Porzingis was playing. But I want to give some credit to Denny Avdia. Kid had 14 points, and he's pushing pace. I like the fact that the Wizards got 9 fast break points. I think they had 7 of those in the first half. They set the tone early. I thought Porzingis was the tone setter in the first couple minutes of this game, really kind of taking the crowd out of it. And as Drew said, once he fouled out, then all of a sudden the Boo Birds want to come out. But Wes, I'm going to go back to what I said on Friday. The end of that post game, I said, ask me when the Wizards are whole again, what's going to happen with this matchup against the New York Knicks. And you saw what happened. When Bradley Beal is in the lineup now, Drew said it, the matchup between Porzingis and Randle, whoever won that, won the game. And we saw who won that matchup.
Guys, we also have to factor in those threes, 10 of them in the first half. It just felt like this game, you know, we talk about energy, right? You can feel the kind of night you're going to have. When the 3 ball started following, it looked like it put New York in a bit of a tizzy trying to figure out how do we stop these guys, Drew?
Yeah, well, you know what? Their defense is stop the paint, lock in the paint. Do not allow any drives. Do not play without foul and don't send them to the line and make them take tough outside three-point shots that are contested. This has been Tibbs' principles his entire time as a head coach in this league when you play against his teams. They want to pack the paint and force you to make threes, and tonight the Wizards did just that. They said, hey, the hell with the layups and get into the line. We'll just knock down these threes that you're giving them. Find the open man, move the ball, move bodies, and they did a phenomenal job in that first half. I want to say they had 15 assists on 20 made field goals at one point, so kudos to the Wizards collectively.
You know, just to piggyback on what Drew and Chris said, I really thought the pace of this game was the Wizards played probably one of their best games of the season from a pace standpoint. They took what the defense gave them, and that's the key. You know, they did a great job of transition buckets. They took it off the glass. They got buckets. They didn't just rely on grinding it out. They did a great job of, you know, executing the half-court offense, and the ball movement I thought was terrific tonight. They really spaced out the Knicks. And to Drew's point, you know, the bottom line is, here's what the Knicks do. They take a big yellow school bus and they put it in the paint. And then typically they have Mitchell Robinson, who's those solar windmill guys, who's behind on top of that bus blocking shots and getting defensive rebounds. That's their defense. Well, Robinson went out, but the bus was still there. True. So the Wizards really exploited it by going around the bus, right, driving into the passing lanes. They made their threes, and they diversified their offensive schemes. They didn't just rely on threes.
Right.
They also, you saw Kuz with attacking, you saw Brad attack, you saw Monte Morris attack. I love the pace and the way these guys played tonight.
Chris and Drew, we pretty much had the Knicks, Warriors, Knicks. The first 2 games that we saw in that 3-game series obviously went the way that it went. But next up on the menu is Orlando back in D.C. What's a lesson that we learned from the night that we can implore back when you guys come back home?
It's hard to win on the road. So take advantage of all the home games you have and put teams like the Orlando Magic away early if you can. You're back whole, like Chris has mentioned. You got the big 3 back together. Hopefully this win will give the Wizards more confidence going back home against the Magic, because guess what? You got to go take your talents back on the road after that game.
Indeed, it's going to be a 5-game stretch after that Orlando Magic game. Chris, you already know. Gentlemen, I'm just glad that you were able to have a good call tonight, Chris. I know you were enjoying it, being in an MSG for your first call. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great one, and we'll see you on Saturday for the Orlando Magic. Right now, Wizards fans, head coach Wes Unseld Jr. at the post-game podium.